Hello guys, Riley Brannon here, and I have ran across a article here. Cannabis users are more likely to be in moderate or serious psychological distress, study finds. And I've seen a couple articles reporting this. There's a Bible verse in the Bible that says, by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, the truth shall be established. When you see a repeating, I don't want to say trend, but you see something like this that's being repeated, it oftentimes... it doesn't always mean something's true, but it's definitely something to look into. So it starts here. It says a study conducted using data from the 2020 National Survey on Drug Use and Health has found that individuals reporting serious psychological distress are more likely to be users of cannabis. Both moderate and serious levels of psychological distress were associated with elevated risks of cannabis use disorder. The study was published in the Journal of Psychoactive Drugs, and most people know, but there are some who don't. Cannabis, tetrahydrocannabinol, which is the main ingredient in cannabis, is THC, and then the other cannabinoids that you find in there. This is a psychoactive drug. Okay, just sort of like LSD or mescaline or any other psychoactive drug. Mushrooms, they do alter the state of your mind. Now, anytime you become dependent upon something outside of yourself for what you would call a comfortable or right psychological state, you got to think for a second. You're depending on something outside of yourself, not something inside of yourself. So, and if you don't have that, sure, they say cannabis is not addictive, but if you don't have that, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to want it. You're going to crave it. And if you don't have it, you're going to think to yourself, you don't have a proper psychological state. So, you hear some noise in the background, just me grilling some burgers. Okay, apologize for the distraction. So, I used to be a heavy cannabis user, and I found that I had a less stable mentality or psychological state than I did after, it's been, 10 years now I haven't used cannabis, and I have a much more fortified, if I can use that word, fortified mind, a lot stronger psychological state. Now, of course, there were other factors that come into play with my past life when I was smoking cannabis that, could have contributed to my weakened psychological state. But now that I'm not on cannabis, I am much, much more psychologically stable. And so, having the experience of that, I can attest to it. And then we have, evidence supporting it. Now, I'm not going to go through and read the whole thing. I'm going to put a link in the description box for you. But I just wanted to share that, and hopefully it'll bring awareness to it. Cannabis is not a safe drug. And they say it's not addictive, but anytime you're depending upon something for a certain state of mind or a state of being, if you don't have that, let's just think about it logically. What are you going to do? You're going to think you're not in that right state of mind, and you're going to try to get that. And so that's going to be psychologically addictive in and of itself. But I would even say, because I used to smoke cannabis, and I had friends who smoked it heavily, and when they didn't have it, they were irritable. They were very irritable, and many of you can attest to that. So there is a certain physical addiction too, I would say, because they would become less physically active, and there are some physical addictions. Yes, that may be psychological, and the psychological may be affecting the body, but either way, it's not everything it's cracked up to be. Now, there are, with that being said, I have had friends, people even in the Christian faith ministry, who leaned upon the THC oil in a time, when they were going through cancer, in a time when they couldn't eat and they had a lot of pain, and that sort of took care of the pain and their lack of appetite. I think it's on the earth for a reason, but to smoke it, to alter your state of mind, I think it's no better than being a drunk, because you're depending on that. There are proper ways to use it by eating it, but as a Christian who believes that you can have healing in the Lord, why? If you're a Christian, why? Everything you need in life can be found in Christ, in intimacy with Christ. So, in the Word. The Word's how we access God. The Word's how we find God. The Word's how we learn about God. And so, in the Word and through prayer, we can have everything we need to be psychologically and physically whole in Christ. I believe that. So,